Test, test, test. Hello, hello. Stand by if you've turned into the U.S. National Snooker Championship. We're just getting everything rolling, everybody out there, and hopefully we'll be going live on our first match of the day momentarily. Just working out all those bugs and kinks in technology world. It's going to be a fun one with RENAT, DENKHA, and Alex Kopel. Hey, hey, hello, hello. Test, test. Looking good out here. It's the final few things getting ready to go for our featured match here. Start the day, day one of the U.S. National Snooker Championships. As you can see on the left part of our screen, roving referee Dave Daly doing a great job. He'll be in action later today, but double duty for Mr. D. There's Alex Kopel just at the table, getting a little bit of practice before we get into our featured match. We're here in Concord, California. It's the Champion Snooker Club, the site of this 2025 United States National Snooker Championship. David Burney's in the booth to guide you through this great, wonderful tournament. Certainly is quite the scene in Northern California. This beautiful room has 9 snooker tables, if you can believe it. 9 snooker tables. All right, good morning, everybody. We are here at the 2025 United States National Snooker Championship live in Concord, California at the Champion Snooker Club. Great facility here. It's day one. David Burney's in the booth. We've got a great matchup to get us going. It's reigning U.S. National Champion RENAT DENKHA. He's been winning everything in sight lately, taking on Alex Kopel. And that's just finishing off a little bit of his pregame practice. We apologize for the slight delay. We're hoping to kick off at about 9 a.m. Pacific time. But we just had to figure out a few kinks that were in our streaming software. There's always a few issues sometimes when we come into new places, figuring out how everything works and getting it all up to speed so all of you at home can enjoy this great championship over the Memorial Day weekend. If you want to take a look at any results out there, cloudsnooker.com. That's cloudsnooker.com. Just look at for the 2025 U.S. National heading, as there's many tournaments. Our friends up in Canada, actually, on Saturday, tomorrow, will be starting their national championship with the seniors event, moving on to the Open Championship that would start on Wednesday. So. So, good time to get that cool drink or a nice hot cup of coffee, as this match will be starting very soon. And here we go, handshakes of hand. The coin toss has gone off. And now they'll be using these tablets. We see that a lot in the U.S. events, these Cloud Snooker tablets. So the score they will be keeping. And now we don't have a designated scorekeeper. So obviously at the end of breaks, that's when we'll see what the scores are tabulated as. But here comes the defending champ with his quest for a second U.S. national title. RENAT DENKHA breaking off. Definitely these early matches you want to get in first and just get your back arm nice and loose. It's a decent sized room, but there are a few points where players have to wait for adjacent table, as Alex was waiting for our friend from Papsa, Amit, to take his shot. We do have an active live chat on the YouTube channel, so feel free to put any comments, or if you have any questions or any support, Renat or Alex would love to hear from you through the Ethernet. And that just might be one costly mistake there for Alex. It's certainly using all of the table here for Renat to take this red into the yellow pocket. Over here, miss by Renat. We just got to wake up a little bit. It's gifted a good a chance for Alex. Take this red into the left middle. Don't know a lot about Alex. First time I've seen him on the TV table. Donning the Johnny Cash look, wearing the all black. And he just ran on a bit too much for him there. Wanted to pull up a little bit, a little tight to the cushion. A little blind cut with that red that's above the black into the top right corner. Just made that pot that much more difficult, and no, he isn't giving Renat an easy starter. And these are best of 3 matches, so definitely paramount importance of really getting that first frame on the board. Then you only need to win one more. Yeah, getting into that red just took the momentum out of the black. Looks like there's a path for this black into the right middle. That's a wonderful shot there. It's going to be tough for Alex here. He might be sitting for a bit. Renat definitely a prolific potter. It's helped by a nice black. Just could have done with a bit more pace there. Yeah, sometimes the amateur player tries to get a little too cute and put some needed spin on there to hold the cue ball for that black ball, but I like what Renat did there. He used the cushion. As the great Ronnie O'Sullivan once said, there's cushions on the table for a reason, so why not use them? And forced Renat with a tough black, and unfortunately he wasn't able to make it, but small little break puts him ahead, 17-3. Well, Alex isn't missing by much. Just goes to show you how tough this game is. Renat might just have a little shot to nothing here, taking that red right side. Maybe didn't have the ankle, but I think safety was his main concern there. Just wanted to get that cue ball back into the bulk area. A shot to nothing, sometimes we like to call it. into that red. He's gifted a good opportunity for Alex. One reprieve for RENAT as Alex takes a red into the business end of the table. As you can see, his bridge hand is going to be all in that middle bag, as you can see. Alex has just got to take it one shot at a time. I thought about it a little bit. This is a great opportunity to put the defending champ in a little bit of trouble. Now there's 8 groups in the round robin stage. So there's 4 groups, I believe, with 6 players, and 4 groups with 5. So these gentlemen are in a group with 4 other players, so 5 matches. But always good to get that first one on the board bright and early. You can feel just a little bit more relaxed. He's going to have to get a good color ball here to continue the break. Maybe taking the pink down to the top right corner. I think with the angle he's going to miss the in-off into the middle pocket, and that might shoot him up to the bulk area. At least it's an element of safe, because how these reds are spread out could be dangerous if he was to miss. It's a nice long blue. Hey KP, thanks for tuning in. You are wondering if Gigi has dual citizenship. Yes, I believe he does. This is a tournament only for American citizens, but if you're dual, that counts. Patrick Gigi, who is the president of Snooker Canada, which works out of Montreal, has come down and participated in this event. He's been in the event before. Hopefully, maybe in the coming years. I know this is a big Memorial Day weekend here in America, and it's really right at the same time with the Canadian national tournament up there in Canada right now. So hopefully next year maybe they can separate it a little bit, as much as obviously this is just open to American players and the Canadian national is just open to Canadian players. But we don't want you great fans out there to decide which broadcast you tune into. I want to give you the best of everything, so hopefully next year one after the other can be going on. There's lots of great snooker, and we just finished in a very exciting World Championship over in Sheffield. We got the Women's World Championship over in China. There might be a little bit of a rest sometimes in these summer months. People like to get outdoors. That is correct, KP. KP, I believe the senior start of the Canadian national tournament starts on Saturday tomorrow, and that runs until Tuesday. And then the Open Championship for the Canadian will start Wednesday with a climax reaching on Sunday, June 1st, if I believe. Got the 2023 U.S. national champion Darren Taylor tuning in on the stream. Thanks for the kind words, Darren. We're missing you here on the table and in the booth. Your insight and knowledge in the game is always welcome. And we hope you're doing well down in Arizona. Well, that's for sure. The game in America is certainly picking up. I was talking to a gentleman last night when we got in, and Hermosa, a city close by here in Concord, and they've got a room that has, I think, 8 snooker tables and 6 8-foot tables. So something certainly is going on in Northern California. This is a little unlucky on that red. Almost was available for the pink. Got to be mindful because there is a red in the bulk area. KP is asking about Texas. I think Texas is quite strong. I think they've got some a good scene in Houston. We've got I think a good contingent of players from the Lone Star State. Not sure about the other cities, Austin and Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio. But it sure is definitely building, and that's always a good thing. Also great to hear a dear friend, Michael Packman, tuning in all the way from England, a Sheffield buddy. It's good catching up with him and his lovely Lucy over there in Sheffield this year. Well, he's a little bit fortunate that cue ball has gone tight to the cushion. With it on the cushion there. You don't have a lot of the cue ball to work with, so always a risk that you could put a little unwanted side. And Renat's returned the favor. As much as there's I think relatively easy red out there in the opening, just above the top cushion. It's always tricky with that cue ball against the rail. This is definitely testing the reigning champion. Hasn't been a runaway. There have been some chances that RENAT has faltered a little bit on. Can't keep RENAT down for long. He's developed that black nicely, and he's got that red close to the pink. He's got at least 3 reds open. Ooh, the commentator's curse. He's going to be really upset. He just begrudgingly walks back to his chair there. Knew he had a really good chance to either take the frame or get a good stranglehold on this first frame of the match. Mouse ran a little bit too much for the black, and looks like he's got the pink. I just want to put a hair of check side as it comes off that cushion. It will just straighten up. He's electing to take one of these reds into the left middle. Always when you put a little bit of side on your cue ball, it just makes it that much more difficult. For the more novice and newer players, something not to be concerned with. Center ball is what you should focus on when you're first getting started. There's a bit of bother here. Try the double. Yeah, we had a nice red, but fortunately, again, cue ball tight to the cushion. Only trailing by a point in this first frame. RENAT DENKHA with a 30-29 advantage. Alex at the table. Interesting, Alex, before the match started, he was wondering if we had a makeup person around. I was wondering, like, well, how close do you think these cameras are going to get Mr. DeMille? Hopefully someday, soon enough, we can get some great people operating the cameras. As right now, it's kind of stationary cameras with a little remote control at our control center. I think that was the intention. So RENAT has a shot to nothing here. I think that left red, maybe the black was taken with an angle, but this is definitely a nice little nesting area with how the ball colors are situated. Certainly a nice little, rather large wall with the yellow and brown. If you can get behind there. So we might see a little bit of a tactical exchange here. It's in that red on the right. Very safe. Oh, what a pot that was. Fantastic. So there have been a lot of old faces coming into the room. Our good friend Sargon Isaac is here, defending champion, or a champion of past years. Looking to hoist that trophy again. Ramil, the owner of the Arizona Snooker Club, or Academy I should say, has entered. It's nice to see that Ramil was able to escape Spain. Caught up with him in Sheffield earlier this year, and he was telling me that all the power in Spain went out, the entire country. Ramil loves his snooker and loves his auto racing. Right now, Alex is doing quite well here. A couple great reds. I'm thinking going to the brown and stun it and just get it glued to the yellow. It's a tough color to develop this red. I just don't see it. Wow. Yeah, maybe, you know, take that pink on, get the points, and you can clip off this red and 2 cushions, maybe even 3, and get around where the yellow and brown are. brilliant. Great shot. So in this tournament, the round robin stage, where they foul and miss situations, it is 4 attempts, 3 putbacks, and obviously on the final attempt, it has to be a worthwhile attempt. There's no just push-out shots. So second attempt done well for RENAT. Always good at the foul and miss if you're getting close to that point where it's the final attempt. Good idea to call over the roving referee. Right now, it's position filled by Dave Daly. 15-point advantage, 35 on the table. Still anyone's first frame here. They want to like that travel a little bit more. If it was just below the blue, have a nice angle just to float it into the right middle and come up nicely on the yellow. So just a little bit more distance on this pot. Ooh. Be a path. No, there's no path, but ooh, there might be a gap. There might be. Might be a free ball as well. Yeah, we're not having a look. Yeah, I think so. In this situation, when you can't hit both sides of your object ball after a foul, you can nominate any of the balls on the table, in this case to be your yellow. Looks like RENAT's going to size up. The blue has a nice little angle, run through, come off the cushion, get up there for the yellow. Played it nicely with a little trace of side to run up there. I think he's got a nice angle on the yellow too. It's a little slightly blind cut. Great streaming producer Lance Brom, just tweaking a little bit with the pitcher just to make it pinpoint precise for all you at home. We are not experiencing any earthquake, knock on wood. This is a great chance for a steal. Does need them all. This blue makes it 46 apiece. So, great position where this pink can roll it through and take the black into the opposite corner pocket. Just stunned it nicely. I maybe had a different angle. Tough to see from our vantage point. He's got the best view at the table. black for a great steal and to get the first frame on the board in this best of 3. And it's there. Wow. I think RENAT was feeling a little bit of pressure there, but he pulled out. Alex has got his work cut out for him, potting some good shots. So let's see how he does in frame 2 when we come back. And welcome back, everybody, to the 2025 U.S. National Snooker Championships, live here in Concord, California, at the Champion Snooker Club. Beautiful facility here. They've got 9 great snooker tables and a couple small tables. Great to see in America. I just saw your note there, KP, about sponsorship, offering to send American players over to England. Well, Ahmad Ali Al-Said is back on this side of the Atlantic. He actually was an American playing on the pro circuit for the last 2 years. So the Pan American Billiards and Snooker Association, known as PAPSA, the YouTube channel that you're finding this great broadcast, they have a senior and an open championship that runs annually. We'll be back in Northern California for that great championship in Sacramento around the end of August, early September. So that event, if you win the Open Championship, you get a 2-year card. So Sahil Nair of Canada is going to be waving the maple leaf. Hasn't been on the Pro Tour for a long time. Alain Robidoux was the last Canadian on the pro circuit. I think Alain retired in 2003. So great to hear for Sahil. But that's one of the first big things that can get a player over to England as well on that senior side of that great championship that PAPSA puts on. The winner of the senior championship plays in the senior world championship at the Crucible Theater after the regular world championship concludes. So they're slowly but surely getting some things happening, that's for sure. I think definitely it is predominantly a big British sport. Feel free. I don't have the stats all in front of me. I don't have, the great snooker almanac in front of me. But when you think Cliff Thorburn, Canadian, Neil Robertson, Australian, Luca Bissell, Belgian, and Zhao Xingtong from China are world championships and they're world champions, and they're the only from not on the British Isles. So I think definitely with Xingtao winning this year, that's going to help the sport tremendously. As well, there are becoming a few more and more Q Tour events that are popping up in the Americas. So that is another way that players can qualify. As a few years back, if you wanted to become a professional snooker player, most of the time you had to make your way over to England on your own dime, play in a tournament. And if you win the tournament, obviously you get your tour card, but there's no financial reward for that tournament. And then when you're on the tour, you do have to start winning to make some money. So it is a tough road, and the competition is definitely fierce over there in England. It's been in their bloodlines. It's pretty much like baseball in America or hockey in Canada. A lot of countries have their sports that they really excel in. I think what's going to help as well, going just back to the debate of getting American players and Canadians and even Brazilians all in the Americas, is the great streams that we have. We're actually being able to put this great sport now out there for the masses. That's a little bit of luck there by RENAT. Canning off that red. And looks like he could have a nice angle on this yellow to come back down table. It's pulled up all right. He's got that red that he's close to. Draw it back. He can have the pink into the same pocket. But yeah, I think once people see this great game, then they kind of get inspired and they see the beauty, the intricacies of it. It does have a pretty big history. I'm not sure. All of us were children at one point. Many of us might have read a few Roald Dahl books. Obviously, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, Jacob Tutu and the Hooded Fang. Some of his great stories. He, in fact, actually was buried with his snooker cue. Any big heavy metal fans out there? Nico of Iron Maiden is a huge supporter of the game, so. Yeah, it's starting to get real busy in the room. You know, all tables in action. We've got our practice table going on. So obviously, with the roll-on philosophy, as soon as tables become available, players that are scheduled for the next match will get on when they're available. Obviously, Alex wants to prolong anyone getting onto this table, put us into a decider by taking the second frame. Still pretty close. Hasn't been like a runaway for RENAT. Just not coming up for the pink, and I think that red as well blocks the path for the pink into the top right corner. So try and draw back this blue makes it a bit difficult. Maybe a little center ball there. Oh, very nice. Always a lovely shot, the cross double. Just element of safe, obviously, there. Surprise, RENAT maybe just runs into this green and gets in between the yellow and brown. Oh, he had a chance at that brown. Cue ball hasn't found the bottom of the pocket. That's okay, but he's left an open red, left of the blue. Obviously, it's a very perplexing bridge hand there for Alex. That camera work, yeah. Alex did have the shot on, but obviously can't put his bridge hand flat on the table. Nice to hear some support chiming in for both Alex and RENAT. As RENAT baited Alex, cut this red into the right center pocket. It's a thin cut, certainly is possible. Go for the long pocket, but left this red on, but it does look like a thin snick for RENAT. So with these thin cuts, kind of lose control of the cue ball. He's come up just perfect on this pink. If he's just a fraction low, it's ideal. Straight on is not the end of the world, but if he's just a little low, he can just stun down ever so slightly, and with that angle, opting to use the cushion. Wanted to be a bit straighter. It's a bit low on this blue. Actual angle is going to push his cue ball up table. But played with nice pace. He's left himself another mid-range red. He can run through it, take the pink into the opposite corner pocket. Elected for the bottom one to stun down for the black. Yeah, it's one thing to call shots from the commentator booth, but obviously then when you're down on the table, When you're the player, you know your percentages. Always good to know. You always want to play to the high percentage shot. So this definitely looks like vintage RENAT here. The keys are in the car and he's revving up and taking a nice drive on the Pacific Coast Highway. Unfortunately that we don't have the scorekeepers. Just not sure what the difference is right now. Obviously, RENAT has built up a lead. Very nice touch shot to keep on this red, but going against the cushion. I'm not sure if it's glued. If it is, cue ball, object ball, and cushion all at the same time.
It's not worth it interrupting him right now.
Ooh, and RENAT's broken down on the yellow. And there's 36 in it, 27 on the table. So Alex needs a couple of snookers. Brown's in a nice spot. Might be able to clip the bottom side of this yellow, just avoid the middle pocket, come off that cushion. Just don't know if he has the ability to avoid the black. He was trying for that brown. Put the pink in a nice spot for snookers as well. Always not a bad idea when your opponent needs snookers. Put them in them as well. Though Alex is not in a snooker, but let's put the brown out of its hiding spot. Decent effort by RENAT. There's a little bit of the yellow that Alex can see. Great Canadian snooker player Tom Finn once said the best thing you can have in this game is patience. Just keep putting some distance between yellow and cue ball for Alex, and maybe RENAT will blunder and he can take on that opportunity to lay a snooker. I don't know how close that black is. If he came off the right side of the yellow, putting the yellow off the cushion, top cushion that is, and putting it back to the bulk end. Oh, this is gonna hurt. This might be frame and match here. Definitely looks like there's a gap there. They are playing when they're on the colors, and more than 3 snookers are required. It is a concession. Sometimes you see players do that when your opponent needs some snookers. Just push the object ball over a pocket, so they have to pot it. 59-21. 38 and 25 on the table. was a players meeting last night, and the players were given a rule package upon registering for the tournament. Sometimes when you're in the heat of battle, sometimes you can forget some things, but might want to have just a quick look at the scoreboard unless my arithmetic is wrong. Looks like, in fact, he might be snookered here. Might have to just swerve it around this blue. He's playing those big swerves. They are tricky shots, and they're also tricky to practice because they make any room owner a little bit nervous. Where you're kind of hitting down on that cue ball to create that swerve. You don't want to be ripping off the cloth, as it's an expensive endeavor to buy the cloth and get it replaced. That snooker wasn't intended as a raise of the hand there by Alex, acknowledging the fluke. Would have been some fluke if that green had gone in. I don't think Alex would have come back to the table. I like what I've seen by Alex. He can definitely put some pots in, string a little breaks together. Yeah, this looks like a good chance for RENAT for frame and match. Just can't get over the line. Let's just get this one done sooner than later. Ooh, he's trying to find that pink. And there's the handshakes there, there's concessions. So RENAT DENKHA continues his campaign, takes his first match of this U.S. National Snooker Championship. He was last year's champion. We're going to step aside for a few short moments and come back with another exciting match here in Concord, California. Stay tuned, everybody. Song green, green, green. Hello, hello, hello. champion, fresh off first match win. How you feeling?
Sure, not bad. We're just trying to get, adjust the game, get used to the tables, and it's always kind of challenging to play 9 a.m. In the morning the eyes are still glued, but we're trying to get in the rhythm of the table. But yeah,
Strong there. You kind of did test it a little bit.
yes,
Yes. You did see at least some vintage DENKHA near the end of the match.
correct. Yeah. No, that was not bad. And also like best of three, kind of put you, kind of pressure. You just wanted to, secure the game.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I was just want to have a quick shot, just seeing how you're feeling. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Feeling confident?
We'll improve as the tournament goes.
And how do you feel about the field this year? You think it's a pretty strong field?
It is. Yeah. I mean, too many of the good players. I see them. They're playing this year, except we miss Darren Taylor. Yeah.
All right. Well, keep much of your time, but hopefully we can have this great tournament in Chicago someday.
Sure. Yeah.
Seems like you've been doing a lot of traveling
Yeah,
this
it'll be
year.
a pleasure. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for that.
No problem.
All right, stand by, everybody. We'll be right back with another exciting match in this 2025 United States Snooker National Championship.
Yeah.